Hello, health enthusiasts, and welcome back to Nutrinova TV, your trusted source for all things nutrition and wellness. Today, we're diving into a kitchen secret that might just change the way you store your groceries. Did you know that not all foods benefit from the chill of the fridge? That's right. Storing certain foods in the cold can do more harm than good, causing them to lose their flavor, texture, or even nutritional value. So, if you've ever wondered why some fruits or vegetables just don't taste as good after they've been refrigerated, you're in the right place. Join us as we explore 25 common foods that you should think twice about before putting them in the refrigerator. Let's jump right into our culinary exploration and uncover these surprising kitchen truths. Number 1. Tomato. Let's start with one of the most common victims of refrigerator mistakes: tomatoes. When chilled, tomatoes lose their signature taste and become mealy in texture. The cold disrupts the delicate balance of enzymes that enhance their flavor, leading to a less appealing taste and texture. Instead of putting them in the fridge, keep tomatoes on your kitchen counter. This allows them to ripen naturally, maintaining their delightful juiciness and robust flavor. They will stay perfectly ripe and delicious for 1 to 2 days when stored at room temperature. So next time, think twice before tossing those tomatoes in the crisper drawer. Number 2. Melons. Next up on our list are melons. These summer favorites are best kept at room temperature to fully develop their juicy texture and rich, sweet flavors. When stored in the refrigerator, uncut melons can lose their crispness and become somewhat grainy or mushy. However, after you've sliced into a melon, it's a different story. At that point, you should transfer the pieces to the refrigerator. This helps to halt the ripening process and keeps the slices fresh and delicious. Properly covered, they can remain good for about 3 to 4 days. So, enjoy your melons at their peak by keeping them out until it's time to slice. Number 3. Cake. When it comes to storing cake, the counter can often be your best choice, especially if it doesn't have perishable toppings like fresh cream or custard. Cakes with frosting made from buttercream or ganache, or those that are unfrosted, tend to maintain their moisture and delightful texture quite well when kept at room temperature. Just make sure to store your cake in an airtight container to prevent it from drying out. Under these conditions, your cake can remain fresh and tasty for about 3 to 4 days. If you're dealing with a particularly hot or humid environment, you might want to limit this time to ensure it stays in peak condition. This way, you can enjoy each slice as if it were freshly baked. Number 4. Citrus fruits. Moving on to citrus fruits, such as oranges, lemons, limes, and grapefruits. These sunny fruits prefer a cool, dry place over the chilly confines of your refrigerator. Storing them in the fridge can lead to a loss of their vibrant juiciness and can dull their flavorful zest. Instead, place them in a fruit bowl on your counter or in a pantry where the temperature is consistent but not too cold. This not only helps in preserving their fresh, tangy flavor, but also maintains their natural moisture content. By keeping them out of the fridge, you'll ensure that each fruit retains its optimal taste and texture, ready to be enjoyed whether you're squeezing them for some fresh juice or zesting them for a culinary recipe. Number 5. Bread. Let's talk about bread. Many people might think that the fridge is a good place to keep bread fresh, but in reality, it can cause bread to stale much faster due to the cold environment accelerating the recrystallization of starches in the bread. Instead of refrigerating, it's best to store bread in a bread box or a cool, dry place where it can maintain its softness and freshness. If you have more bread than you can eat in a few days, consider freezing it instead. Freezing will preserve the bread's texture and flavor, and you can just thaw slices as you need them, ensuring you always have fresh-tasting bread at hand. This method is particularly useful for preserving the delicious taste and texture of freshly baked or artisan breads. Number 6. Coffee beans. Now let's focus on coffee beans, which are crucial for starting our day on the right note. Storing coffee beans in the refrigerator is a common mistake that can lead to some disappointing brews. The problem with the fridge is that it introduces moisture to the beans, which can adversely affect their flavor and aroma. Moisture causes the beans to deteriorate faster and can also make them stale. To preserve the freshness and full-bodied flavor of your coffee beans, keep them in an airtight container at room temperature. Ideally, you should place this container in a dark, cool spot away from direct sunlight or any heat sources. This storage method helps maintain the oils and aromatic compounds within the beans, ensuring that every cup of coffee you brew is as delicious as intended. Number 7. Aged specialty cheese. Turning our attention to aged specialty cheeses, such as aged Gouda, cheddar, or even Pecorino Romano, it's important to know that refrigeration might not be their friend. Storing these hard cheeses in the fridge can cause them to dry out and lose their rich flavors and delightful textures. Instead, these cheeses should be wrapped carefully, ideally in cheese paper or parchment, which allows the cheese to breathe while protecting it from drying out. After wrapping, place them in a cool pantry or a storage area that maintains a consistent cool temperature. This method helps preserve the cheese's natural moisture and enhances the maturation process, allowing the flavors to develop fully. Remember, a bit of room temperature exposure before serving will also ensure the cheese delivers its maximum flavor. Number 8. Peaches. Let's talk about peaches, those succulent summertime favorites. Peaches are climacteric fruits, which means they continue to ripen after being picked from the tree. To let their natural sweetness and juicy texture shine, it's best to store them at room temperature on the countertop. This allows the ripening process to proceed, enhancing their flavor and softness naturally. However, once they've reached that perfect peak of ripeness and you're not ready to eat them just yet, then you can place them in the fridge. This will slow down the ripening process and buy you a few extra days of freshness. But be mindful, refrigeration should only be a temporary solution, as prolonged cold storage could lead to them becoming mealy and less flavorful. Number 9. Chocolate. Now let's talk about chocolate, a favorite treat for many. Storing chocolate in the fridge can lead to several issues that affect its quality. First, chocolate is like a sponge when it comes to odors. It can easily absorb the scents of other foods stored in the fridge. This can alter its pure, intended flavor, giving it unintended notes that can be quite unpleasant. Moreover, the humidity in the fridge can also wreak havoc on chocolate's texture, leading to a condition known as sugar bloom. This happens when sugar crystals form on the surface of the chocolate, making it gritty rather than smooth and creamy. Instead of the fridge, find a cool, dark spot in your pantry for chocolate. This helps maintain its texture and rich flavor, ensuring that each bite is as delightful as intended. Keeping it away from strong-smelling foods and out of direct light will preserve its best qualities. Number 10. Hot sauces. Moving on to hot sauces, these spicy condiments are a staple in many kitchens for adding a quick heat to dishes. Most hot sauces contain a high amount of vinegar and preservatives, which are natural protectants against bacteria, allowing them to remain safe and flavorful at room temperature. Storing them in the fridge isn't necessary and can be detrimental to their quality. Cold temperatures can subdue the vibrant spice levels and robust flavors, making them less pungent and affecting their overall impact on your food. By keeping them on your counter or in a pantry, you ensure that each drop packs the same powerful punch you expect, enhancing your meals with their full, intended intensity. So next time you reach for that bottle of hot sauce, remember that it's best kept out of the cold to maintain its fiery kick. Number 11. Peanut butter. Now let's talk about peanut butter. We all know the struggle of trying to spread cold, hard peanut butter on a piece of soft bread. It can tear the bread and frustrate your breakfast plans. Peanut butter is best stored at room temperature, where it keeps its creamy, spreadable consistency. Whether you prefer smooth or chunky, Keeping it out of the fridge ensures it's always ready to spread perfectly on your toast, crackers, or anything else you fancy. Additionally, storing peanut butter in the cupboard prevents the oils from hardening, which can occur in colder environments, making it difficult to stir and use. So for an easier and more enjoyable experience, keep your jar of peanut butter handy in the pantry, not the fridge. Number 12. Garlic. Let's delve into why garlic should steer clear of the refrigerator. Storing garlic in the fridge can lead to early sprouting and increase the likelihood of mold development due to the moisture inside. Instead, garlic thrives in a dry, cool place, like a pantry where it can maintain its robust flavor and longevity. The ideal storage condition helps preserve its pungent essence and prevent it from becoming soft or moldy. Additionally, keeping garlic in a well-ventilated area ensures that the cloves remain dry and firm, ready to enhance your cooking with their full aromatic potential. So, for the best results in both flavor and storage life, keep your garlic out of the fridge and in a cool, dark cupboard. Number 13. Oils. When it comes to storing cooking oils, the pantry is your best bet. Refrigerating oils can lead to cloudiness and a thicker consistency due to the cold, which, while not harmful, can make the oil less manageable and more difficult to pour when you need it. Oils such as olive, vegetable, and canola are best kept at room temperature where they retain their fluidity and are readily available for cooking. Keeping them in a dark, cool place also helps preserve their flavor and nutritional quality by protecting them from light and heat, which can degrade oils over time. So for optimal use and to maintain the quality of your oils, avoid the fridge and stick to pantry storage. Number 14. Mature white wines. Mature white wines, like a fine Chardonnay or an aged Riesling, truly deserve careful handling to preserve their intricate flavors and aromas. Storing these wines in a regular refrigerator can be too cold, potentially muting their complexity and depth. Instead, the optimal temperature range for these wines is between 50–55 degree F. A wine fridge is ideal as it maintains a consistent temperature, which is crucial for the wine's preservation. If you don't have a wine fridge, find a cool, dark place in your home, like a cellar or a dedicated wine cabinet. This setup not only keeps the wine at a more suitable temperature, but also protects it from temperature fluctuations and light, which can accelerate aging and degrade the wine's quality. Proper storage ensures that when you do open a bottle, it expresses all the rich, intended notes and character the winemaker worked so hard to create. Number 15. Honey. Honey is truly a marvel of nature, known for its indefinite shelf life when stored properly. When placed in the refrigerator, honey tends to crystallize much faster, turning it from smooth and flowing to thick and grainy. This natural process is reversible, but can be a hassle to manage. Instead of refrigerating, it's best to store honey at room temperature in a dry place. This way, it maintains its beautifully smooth consistency, perfect for easy drizzling over your favorite dishes. Keeping honey in your pantry or on a kitchen shelf also ensures it stays ready to use, whether you're sweetening tea or adding a golden touch to your morning oatmeal. Moreover, room temperature helps preserve the honey's natural enzymes and antioxidants, which are beneficial for health. Number 16. Butter. Butter, often considered a staple for the refrigerator, can be stored on the countertop for a few days, especially in cooler climates. This keeps it spreadable and ready for toast or cooking without the hassle of hard, cold butter straight from the fridge. If you live in a warmer area or during hot weather, butter can quickly become too soft or even melt, which is not ideal. In such cases, storing it in the fridge is advisable. However, a handy tip for those who prefer their butter cold but spreadable: divide your butter into smaller portions or sticks. Store the bulk of it in the fridge and only take out a small amount to keep at room temperature as needed. This method ensures you have soft butter ready for immediate use without compromising the rest of your supply. Number 17. Cucumbers. Cucumbers might seem like a natural fit for the refrigerator, but in reality, the chilly environment can do more harm than good. Storing cucumbers in the fridge can lead to them becoming overly watery and developing an unappealing pitted texture. The cold air tends to accelerate their degradation process, making them lose their crispness faster. However, if you find yourself needing to refrigerate cucumbers, perhaps due to space constraints or simply because you won't use them immediately, there is a workaround. Wrap the cucumbers in a paper towel or a cloth to absorb excess moisture, and then place them in a plastic bag. This setup helps minimize exposure to the fridge's moist environment, prolonging their freshness and texture for a bit longer. Still, for the best results in terms of texture and flavor, try to keep them at room temperature and use them within a few days of purchase. Number 18. Onions. Onions thrive best when stored in a dry, well-ventilated area. The moisture and cold inside a refrigerator can cause onions to become soft and susceptible to mold, drastically reducing their shelf life and flavor. Instead, find a cool, dry place in your pantry or a storage area where air can circulate freely around them. This helps maintain their firmness and prevents the development of mold. It's also important to store onions separately from potatoes. While it might seem convenient to keep these two staples together, onions can cause potatoes to sprout more quickly due to the gases they emit. Keeping them apart ensures that both vegetables maintain their freshness longer. Ideally, place onions in a mesh bag or a basket where they are not packed too tightly, allowing air to circulate and extend their usability. Number 19. Bananas. Bananas are best kept on your countertop where they can ripen naturally. Storing them in the refrigerator can cause the peels to blacken more rapidly due to the cold temperature, which disrupts the natural ripening enzymes. Not only does this lead to an unappealing outer appearance, but it can also prevent the bananas from becoming fully ripe, leaving them firm and less sweet inside. Bananas produce ethylene, a natural gas that promotes ripening, and when confined in a fridge, this process is halted, and the texture can become mushy. To enjoy bananas at their flavorful and creamy best, allow them to ripen at room temperature. Once they've reached the desired ripeness, you can move them to the fridge if you prefer to eat them a bit cooler, but only for a short period to extend their shelf life without compromising texture and taste. Number 20. Basil. Herbs, especially basil, are particularly sensitive to the cold temperatures of a refrigerator, which can quickly lead to blackened and wilted leaves. Instead of chilling them, treat basil much like you would a fresh bouquet. Simply place the basil stems in a glass of water and set it on your countertop. This method not only keeps the basil vibrant and green, but also extends its freshness significantly. Ensure the water is changed every few days to maintain its vitality. Additionally, keep the basil away from direct sunlight to avoid drying out the leaves. This kitchen counter method mimics the natural environment of basil, providing just enough moisture and air circulation to keep it thriving and ready to enhance your dishes with its fresh aromatic flavor. Number 21. Potatoes. Potatoes are best kept out of the refrigerator, as the chilly environment can do more harm than good. When stored in cold conditions, the starches in potatoes begin to transform into sugars. This not only changes their natural flavor, making them unpleasantly sweet when cooked, but also affects their texture, leading to a grainier, harder bite. Instead of refrigerating, it's better to store potatoes in a cool, dark, and well-ventilated space, such as a pantry or a cellar. This helps maintain their firm texture and earthy flavor. Keeping them in a dark place also prevents them from greening, a sign of solanine production, which can be toxic. So, for the perfect roasties or mashed potatoes, remember to keep your spuds out of the cold. Number 22. Avocado. Avocados continue to ripen after being picked, a natural process that chilling can disrupt. When stored in the refrigerator, the cold temperatures can inhibit this ripening process, preventing the avocados from reaching their full flavor and creamy texture. This can leave them hard and tasteless, which is not ideal for those delicious recipes that require a perfectly ripe avocado. For the best results, avocados should be left at room temperature until they reach the desired ripeness. Only then, if you need to extend their life for a short period, should you consider refrigerating them. Number 23. Nuts and seeds. While refrigeration can indeed extend the shelf life of nuts and seeds by slowing down the degradation of their natural oils, for daily use, it is best to store them in a cool, dry place. The cold environment of a refrigerator can sometimes alter their texture and dampen their natural flavors, making them less enjoyable. Storing them at room temperature in an airtight container helps maintain their crunch and ensures that their rich, nutty flavors are preserved. This method also prevents them from absorbing moisture or odors from other foods stored in the fridge, keeping them fresh and tasty. Number 24. Dry spices. Spices such as turmeric, cumin, and coriander powder do not require refrigeration. Storing them in a cold environment can be detrimental. When removed from the fridge, condensation can occur, which may compromise their aroma and potency. The moisture introduced by condensation can lead to clumping and even mold, reducing the quality and effectiveness of the spices. Instead, keep your spices in a cool, dry cupboard away from direct sunlight. This helps to maintain their vibrant flavors and aromatic properties for a longer period, ensuring that they remain potent and fresh for your cooking needs. And finally, number 25. Water. Bottled or tap water does not need to be refrigerated for safety reasons, but many people prefer the refreshing taste of chilled water. If you choose to refrigerate water, there are no downsides health-wise. However, keeping water at room temperature might be more beneficial for hydrating the body efficiently during colder months, or for those who prefer to avoid the chill on their stomach. Room temperature water is also easier to drink in larger quantities, which can be beneficial for staying hydrated throughout the day. Additionally, some people find that drinking room temperature water is better for digestion and causes less irritation than cold water, especially when consumed with meals. And that wraps up our list of 25 foods that fare better outside the fridge. By following these storage suggestions, you can enjoy your foods at their peak flavor and freshness. We hope you found these tips useful and that they help you make the most of your kitchen staples. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Nutrinova TV, and click the bell icon so you never miss our health and nutrition insights. We'd love to hear about your food storage successes or any questions you might have, so please drop us a comment below. Stay tuned for more informative content designed to help you lead a healthier life. See you in the next video, and remember, smart choices in the kitchen can lead to a healthier you.